No, I'm doing that before the show. Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to Beer Analysis 101 with your host, Maxwell Starr.
Oh, hello, Nick.
And hello,
I don't mean to
Greg.
crash your program.
That's all right. We're taking it easy tonight. We're doing light tonight, having a lighter mood and lighter beers. The theme for tonight's Bring Your Own Beer is light beers, and I decided to just say fuck it and say just open up the theme to anything that says light. Could be a light lager, could be a light something, could be Lighthouse Brewing. I don't care, but I'm kind of excited to actually see what everybody brought here tonight because hey, it's still cool. You brought a light beer. I'm just going to see what's your interpretation. So let's start off with the first person that showed up tonight, which was our buddy Guy. Hello, Guy. How you doing?
Hello.
How you doing tonight?
It's good, you.
I'm not doing too bad. All right, what'd you bring with you?
This one? No, not that one.
No. Although that is good. Bud Light.
Yay!
Yay! Somebody brought the classic. We do need to be one of that.
Next favorite beer.
Yep. All right. Hopefully nobody brought the same one. All right. So let's move on to the next person, which is Monsieur Beard, Mr. 70 kilometer an hour Beard.
I brought a can of Rowdy Piper Session IPA, and look at the sunlight. The sun going down behind this guy.
Sunrise or aurora or something like that. Okay.
And also, Session IPA doesn't say it in the name, but it is basically the lighter end of an IPA. So, light theme, and why not? Yeah.
Interesting.
Fail.
All right. Okay, and let's move over to Mr. Lee. Hi, Tide and Vibe. How you doing tonight, Lee?
I'm living. How you doing?
Not too bad.
All right.
What'd you bring with you tonight?
So I was originally going to bring this, which is from Two Crows Brewing, their Refresh, which is their light lager. But I looked at the package date on here. Like, it was on clearance at the NSLC, so I was like, oh, cool, I'll grab it. It'll probably be a couple months old. It was packaged on January 6th, 2020.
Nice.
So I'm going to save that for later, and I'm just going to go with a beer that you guys have seen me drink a lot lately in hangouts and the like. Another Two Crow selection. This one nice and fresh, thankfully. This was packaged in June, and this is their Atlantic Canada's light lager, or their AC light lager.
Nice.
So
nice. Glad somebody brought that. I wish I could get that here.
Lee's drinking Freon.
Alrighty. All right. Thank you, Lee. Let's go over to Mr. Greg. Hi, Greg.
Well, hi, Nick. How are you today?
I'm not doing too bad. How are you? You having a crashing good time?
I feel like I might be crashing. I might need a coffee. But
anyways,
avoid the pylons, kids. Don't go towards them, like he says. So, I don't know. You did your whole thing where you're like, well, it can be anything with light in the name. Something, okay. What high ABV beer is there that has light in the name? So, someone in the comments can answer that, because I just totally phoned this one in. Stonewall Light's my wife's favorite beer.
Wow. I told you, like, if Bud Light Platinum is still a thing, that would have been eligible.
So, but you know what? I think I may have brought this on the show before. It's my wife's favorite beer. It's really the only beer she drinks.
I think you have, but I've never had that.
Well,
still cool.
You're not missing much, but we'll see. We'll give it a nice fair shake. And also, I drank way too much. I was sessioning Mad Tom IPA yesterday, so not feeling like any heavy beers today, especially no hoppy beers. Thank you.
Good choice.
Nice. All right, so that all that leaves now is me. Hi, what did I bring for a light beer? Well, it's funny that I did bring one. It is a light beer, but this one here just came out. I actually got the last 4-pack that says in the Envy Liquor, thankfully, and it's cheap in a 4-pack. It's like $12. But one of my favorite IPAs from Trailway, they just released a light version. A session IPA version of Huge on Hops. So Huge on Hops light, 4% ABV. Does it have any blurb on it saying what hops they used. No, but it's intended to be like one of the Trailways staple beers. Is Hujon hops. It's like regularly available. It's one of my favorite go-to beers, and I think the regular ABV on that one is like 6. So it's cool that there's a light version. As soon as they announced that, I had to go get it. So
Nice.
and that's kind of giving my history on that as anyway. So let's actually turn to the comments while we're here because we have
Sure.
Mercy Beers in the chat who says good evening. The Smith said there's a light that never goes out. Where does that count? Well, I guess. Although I do like this, that is an awesome song. All right. Mercy Beers also says local brewery to me do a rowdy porter. That'd be cool. And finally, another comment from Mercy Beers saying a load of German lagers on clearance this week. 80p glass. Whoa. But a year past its best buy. But hey, it's a lager.
Yeah, and if it's canned or whatever, then it's, who cares?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what you got. I know I remember really liking Hagershore Gold. All right, so we also have Lady Lee here with us. We might as well show her off. Hey, Lady Lee.
Hey.
Look at her
Hey.
Tito's.
All right. Oh, God. All right. What do you got with you tonight, Lee?
I have a sorry, it's really awkward with the phone. A Clear Lake summer ale. So it's a
Okay.
light beer.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Nice. What's the ABV
Says
on
on the
that?
bottom of the can. Light beer. That is why I picked it, because it said light on it.
Nice. Qualifies. And of course, it's always open to your interpretation. So I mean, Greg could say this said that a double tempest was light and such, and we probably let him on.
Okay.
All right.
Seem to
So,
drink Double Tempest.
because I know you session them, so
I've been known to in the past. It's not a good idea, though.
all right. Thank you, Lady Lee. Now, we've already heard the comments. Let's go back around and give our beer histories on this specific beer. And Yee, what's your history with the beer you brought?
I'm not sure what session it was. Once I went to Don Rig 13s, I got so fucking smashed, I remember. But then we were drinking that from this place, and we must have drank like probably 6 each. So that's all I remember.
Jesus.
It's a good time.
All right.
That's it.
Nice. All right. Let's go over to Redbeard.
I've had quite a few of these beers. Before they were called South River Brewing Company, when they were still Highlander, did many a beer festival with this particular beer. And it's far and away the hoppiest beer that brewery has pretty much ever made, which isn't saying much because it still really isn't that hoppy. Mine does say the dry hop was Chinook on this one, so yippity doo. Yeah. 4.2%, 45 IBUs.
Nice. So what's that one called again? It's like Piper or something.
Rowdy Piper.
Rowdy Piper.
Session IPA.
Is that one that they made while they were Highlander?
Yes.
And what was it called before?
Same name of the beer.
Same name of the beer.
Yeah, all their beers
Okay.
have the same names that they used to. They just use the name of the brewery.
All right. So yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Beard. Let's move over to who's next. We got Mr. Lee.
Yeah, so this just came out for Two Crows this past spring. So I think I forgot to say it when I was introducing it. 4% alcohol by volume. And my history is it's been sort of a go-to since I first picked it up this spring because it's in line with a lot of craft breweries these days, sort of making like a alternative to macro lagers that are easy to drink but are craft brewed and people can buy them, and of course it appeals a little bit more to quote unquote normies who are maybe hesitant to try more elaborate brews and stronger brews from a craft brewery. And this one's interesting because it's like everything in it's locally sourced. So I have it here. The barley is grown in Prince Edward Island and malted by Shoreline Malting Co. And its whole leaf hops are grown by Lakeview Hops in New Brunswick. and the water it uses is softened Halifax water for brewing. So, yeah.
Very nice.
But yeah, I've been it's been a kind of a go-to now since I first had it this past spring. So
Right on. All right, thank you, Mr. Lee. Let's go over to Mr. Greggy with his Stonewall Light. Now, obviously, you got a little bit of history at this. You're telling me
I have
your
a
wife
little
likes
bit
this.
of history. Just give me one moment. Just take a picture of my wife. She wants to see something. Okay, back to the show. So some of you know, it's been a secret for a while, but some of you really close friends know I used to live in a condo. It's true.
What?
I know. It's
Really?
crazy. I used to have a balcony, and whenever I had a cool beer product, Lady Lee's so shocked she's fucking leaving. She's like, I'm out.
Wow.
Can't believe you didn't tell me about the condo. Wow. Anyways, rude. But anyways, I used to go out on the balcony. I'd point, that's where cool beer is. And I'd point, I'd put a finger there, and all you guys would be like, yeah, we don't care.
Every time you fingered cool beer.
But yeah, I did like to finger it, but I can't do it anymore. But yeah, I've been drinking not this specific beer. My wife has probably drank about 8,000 of these in the last 10 years or so.
Jesus.
It's sort of her go-to beer that she just really likes. I don't know why she likes light beers. It used to be Coors Light. Now it's this. So, but yeah, I mean, ever since it's almost right beside GLB. So it's like, you know, whenever I'd go to GLB, my wife would go, oh, let's go to Cool Beer, pick up some of this and just buy a case of this. And it's pretty cheap. It used to be like those beers that were like a 2-4 for like $28, but times have changed, but it's still relatively cheap. I think this is like $37 for a 2-4 of these now or something. I can't remember exactly.
That's still pretty fucking good.
It is a budget beer for sure. And supposedly, because I've asked them if they put corn syrup in this, and I actually went to the brewery and I said, I'm allergic to corn. Is there any corn syrup in this? And they assured me there's no corn in it, that my allergy is fine. But I don't know. Chad, when he did a tour of the brewery, said he saw them putting corn syrup in it, so I don't know who to believe.
Well, I think an allergic reaction.
Yeah, I know. I got to find someone who's allergic to corn, get them to taste this beer, see how it is.
Could have just pretended and just sued their ass.
I mean, I think you need a little bit of proof to sue their asses. That's the problem. Well, I'll just pay a doctor off to lie for me and make some fake tests. Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick. You didn't think you're fraud very well.
It's all good, man.
But
all right.
Terrible.
But anyways, yeah. So it's a light beer. And I've had it many times. I've probably finished more of my wife's than I care to admit to, because my wife is always like, I can't drink anymore. Gives it to me. By the way, today I'm going to do an experiment, because my wife always complains that she drinks 2 of these or 3 of these and gets a hangover. I'm like, I don't know how you get a hangover from this.
So one thing that's bugging me when I look at that is what size of can is that?
It's a small can. It's 355. So
okay, well, a normal size, like a normal small can.
It's not tall boy. It's not tall boy. It's
it's got that kind of like skinny kind of Red Bull like can.
Yeah, and it fits perfectly into their little tiny glass that they have. Isn't that fancy? Let's see if it fits perfectly.
Like you just toss it inside the glass like that, and here you pour it yourself. That's why it's so cheap.
I'm gonna drink a few of these tonight, maybe 3. I'll see if I wake up. Oh no, it doesn't. Well, if I didn't have a head, maybe it'd fit.
Well, if it has corn in it.
Maybe. I don't know. I wish you had corn in it instead of corn.
It's not corn; it's got rice.
Corn?
So that's something. The thing is, I don't get the corn taste that I usually get from the big macro beers. So my guess is if they did lie to me and they do put corn in it, then there's very little. Or maybe they're actually telling the truth. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But they got a weed shop attached to them now, so yeah, I don't trust those smokers. They're a bunch of jokers.
Jesus.
Stay in school, kids, and don't do dope.
Alrighty, so let's thank you, Greg. Let's go over to Lady Lee. And Lady Lee, first of all, what was your beer called again? I'm writing it down.
Clear Lake Brewing Summer Ale.
All right. Oh yeah, what do you have for history with it?
I went to the brewery today.
Nice. Ooh, nice.
So it's 800 meters away from the cottage I'm at right now. And we ended up having lunch there. So I had their honey cream ale. I tried that out, and I know they had a couple beers with honey in it, which I thought was really interesting. And then I was looking on the website and saw they had one light beer, so I'm like, perfect. I'll grab that and that'll be my beer for tonight. But that's basically my history. I just found the brewery. It's the same location where they make the Cottage Springs drinks, like those vodka soda water, those soda water vodka soda drinks.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, they have like the Cottage Spring. So those small like summery light drinks. Anyways, same place.
Nice. It looks pretty good. It looks like really a lot like darker than I thought it would be for a light beer.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll get circle around for tasting notes in a bit. Let's just bring you back out. And anybody out there who is watching the episode here, I know there's currently sitting at 0 viewers, but hey, if anybody happens to stumble upon this, let us know what you're drinking. Let us know what you're not drinking. Tell us off. Just please, somebody comment. Mercy Beers appears to have disappeared, I think. And yeah, all right. And also, hi, Jamie, when he's watching the replay. So, yeah. Now we got a pretty good selection of light beers. I feel like got a few people here with a good interpretation of the style or the theme. I'm gonna take the opportunity to crack open another one of these 2 John Hops lights.
It's light. You can just drink as many as you want.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm a trained doctor, and I can tell you that for sure.
I mean, the one I got is definitely like a True Blue hazy session IPA, but hey, it's light beer. It's 4%. I can drink a shit ton of these things and apparently not feel a thing.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just imagining Greg as a doctor informing somebody they have cancer or something. Like, I feel like Greg would have the most terrible bedside manner ever.
It'd be like, hey, just be thankful you didn't crash your bike at 5 kilometers an hour to a guy that's got stage 4 cancer.
Could be worse.
You know,
That wasn't even 5 kilometers, man. He basically like just stopped and then fell over. It's basically the same thing that I've done on my road bike when I forget I got clipless pedals for a second and I stop and just plop.
That's basically what it was. I was going up the hill. I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make it any further because at that point the hill just goes. And so I kind of tried to get off, and I got off at the wrong time, wrong place.
That was great.
But and then I tumbled down the hill.
All right.
That was exciting.
It was exciting.
I'm ready.
At least you're all right.
I'm ready to give my thoughts on my initial beer, so I can try this severely aged one and see how that turns out.
Yeah, I'd be kind of curious to see how that turned out too.
Yeah. So this is really good. It's pretty much like, hey, let's take a macro version of a light lager and put some substance to it. Let's give you some maltiness. It tastes a little bit grainy, a little bit grassy. It's got some, you're drinking and you're like noticeably, yes, this is a beer. It's not just, water with some thin beer flavor in it. It doesn't finish particularly hoppy or anything like that, even though it is actually at 30 IBUs, which is pretty big for a light lager.
It is pretty big.
Yeah, but it just kind of finishes kind of slightly dry. Nothing particularly amazing about that, but it's very drinkable. Like, I'm already done it, and I like it a lot. I like it as far as just doing what it's supposed to do. It's a light lager. It works pretty much perfectly. Could use a bit more hoppiness to it. I'd actually like that. But as it stands, it's like a 9 for style. And my own personal preference, I throw an 8 at it.
Nice.
Sorry, I missed the beer name for like everybody. So what's the beer you have?
See, Two Crows Atlantic Canada's light lager, or AC light lager.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice. I love that label, by the way. It's got that kind of 1980s feel.
It was designed by some local designer in Halifax, I guess. So, like, if you go to Two Crows, they have like a whole section of their website devoted to just this beer, as as their newest sort of like year-long release or whatever, or year-round release, I guess is the way to put it. And So they got like, hey, we got our malt from this place. Go visit this place. We got our hops from this place. Go visit this place. This is the guy who designed our label. Go buy his shit. They got a whole breakdown on it. So
It's kind of very collective arts of them.
yeah, but it's way better than collective arts because they suck.
All right, so thank you, Mr. Lee. Let's actually circle back around and go to Guy. And Guy, how's your Bud Light tasting?
It's actually difficult to pick up what's in there. It's just like very, very light. It's a light beer. I'm not a light beer expert by any means, but I got just like wheat and like syrup. A little bit, I don't know, corn syrup, but it's like super light. I could easily like crush it before this thing.
The Bud, but light.
Enjoyable, easy. I don't know. I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. Light beer soda. 7 out of 10.
So 7 out of 10. This is more like 7.25.
Yep.
So that's your overall, no style rating.
Sure.
All right, I'll put down 7s both.
So easy to drink.
All right. Thank you, Guy. Let's go over to Redbeard. And Redbeard, how's that Highlander beer tasting?
It's all right, but
Tight.
it's very unique, I guess I'd say. Like, it's not bad, but it doesn't really come across as any kind of an IPA. I don't even know what I'd say it comes across as. It's weird. It's kind of tasty though. Style-wise, I'm gonna give like 4. Enjoyment, it's like a solid 7.
Wow, that's a
Like, I can't
brutal in style.
really put my finger on it, but it's the way the malty character and the hoppy characters become one. It really doesn't come off as any kind of an IPA. Like, I feel like if you blind tasted this, you would not guess IPA. But it's tasty, so it's weird.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Beard. Let's go over to Greg.
Oh, this is fantastic. So this is basically like a Corona clone, more or less. Like it's maybe a little cleaner than Corona, but it's the same idea. And I actually forgot about this, but so they used to imply there was lime in it. I'm not sure if there ever actually was, because this is the old label and it said with a squeeze of lime.
Oh, I remember. Okay, I remember fucking reviewing this at one point.
I
And
think
like,
you
this
did.
is not a lime beer. Yeah.
I don't think you were that favorable to it either.
No. Fuck
Now the new ones, they just say add a squeeze of lime. So I guess maybe that's to clarify. There's no lime in it, but like a Corona, you can get these in bottles too. And the bottle looks just like a little Corona bottle. So it's like
What's it called?
Stonewall Light. You can pick it up at most GTA, LCBOs. I'm not sure what the distribution is outside of the city. Cool Beer, like the place that brews this, a lot of these beers are Stonewall. They're Cool Beer. I'm not sure about their Buzz Millennium. Their hemp beer. It doesn't have actually marijuana in it, but they do a lot of like house brand beers. So like a lot of places that'll be like, oh, this is Bob's, restaurant or whatever. We got Bob's, light lager on tap. There's a reasonable chance if it's in the GTA, it might be this, and they just rename it. They're one of the ones. There's a few of them that do it. I think Amsterdam, GLB, and Cool are 3 of the big ones in Toronto that will sell you a beer that you can brand as your own. But anyways, as for the beer, I can see why my wife likes it, because my wife doesn't really like the taste of beer. She likes this does actually a really good job in terms of what it's trying to do, because you got sort of the macro end that everything tastes like fucking corn asshole, and I don't want to drink nacho chips. So most macro light beers kind of suck. On the other end of the spectrum, you got craft beers where often they hop the fuck out of their beers. So even a light beer is tastes like I'm drinking like a grassy IPA or something. So not all of them, but a large amount of them. So this one actually hits a pretty good medium where it's like, I want a pool beer. This is a cool beer and a pool beer. You can just knock back a whole bunch of these all afternoon in the pool, not get overly shit-faced, and it goes down super smooth. Like, I'm not really a big session IPA person. Like, they have their place, but if I want an IPA, I usually want an IPA. Same thing with a stout. I don't want a session stout. So I mean, if I'm going to session something, pilsner, lager, something like that. Not sure what's going on in somebody's house, but something's gotten noisy.
Probably me. I'm keep moving my phone.
And so I'm going to go 8 on style. I think it gets it really good. I'm not going to say it's the best light lager, but I think the style gets it right. Personal enjoyment, I don't know. It's like the bottom end of good for me. I'll give it a 5.5, and then I'll bump it up to a 6 because it came from Etobicoke. So it's a 6 out of 10. It's on my scale, that's basically the bottom end of it's good. If I want a light lager, no problem with this. But how often do I want a light lager? So I'm a professional alcoholic. Like, come on.
All
So
right, Greg.
Lee's little experiment there. The noise was actually him, not her.
Oh, was it?
All right. Thank you, Greg. Let's move over to Lady Lee so that we can hear about her beer.
So this one's pretty nice. Like, I'm enjoying this. I find, considering it as a light beer, there's a lot of flavor to it, because I find with a lot of light beers it tends to taste like a very light flavored lager. Like, it just doesn't, it lacks like that flavorness to it. It says that it has like grapefruit and honey, which is funny because I was like saying it, there was something similar about the cream ale, and the cream ale had honey in it. So I think this is kind of what the brewery does. They use honey in a lot of their recipes. So that's coming out like that. I can kind of smell and kind of taste. It's pretty good. Like, it's I had to Google what a summer ale was, and this is pretty much it. It has that like citrusy taste to it, with like that tiny little bit of hint of honey. Like, it's just like a little bit in the back. Like, it's not there. It's not dominant, but it's definitely there. So style, I think it's pretty on point. Like, it's a light beer, so it doesn't taste like, I don't know, it doesn't have like that strong aftertaste or like that alcohol taste. So that's nice. And then because of the summer ale, it does have that like citrusy taste to it. So I'm gonna go. It's my first one, so it's very hard to rate, but we're gonna go 9.
All good.
They're pretty good
All
from
right.
what the description I read and for what it has. I'm gonna say 9. And then for personal preference, I'm gonna go 9 as well. It goes down really nice and easy. Like I said, for a light beer, it has a lot of flavor, so it is quite nice. It's quite enjoyable.
Nice. All right. Thank you, Lady Lee. And I guess now it is my turn to describe what I think about huge on hops. Well, I guess, you know me, I'm pretty huge on hops myself. So, how did this turn out? Well, I'm a huge fan of the original Huge on Hops beer that Trailway makes, and seeing them actually release a light version of it really piqued my interest when I first saw it. I was almost downright excited to see something like this. Am I disappointed? No, actually, I think this is a really solid beer, and I'll get into that here in a second. So, this thing comes off as having, it's definitely dry hopped. I mean, you get a nice medium kind of body mouthfeel to it. It's got bits of like white grapefruit, resin, some light passion fruit coming out towards the finish. It's almost, I wouldn't say it's like drinking foam. It's just like it's very light in the flavor department, but it does give you that light mouthfeel. And that light resiny taste as you drink it. But what I will say is that even though it's a light beer, like a lot of session IPAs kind of skimp on the amount of malt that they put into their beers. And I feel like the hops always come out as imbalanced. This one, despite just how freaking hazy this thing is, actually is really well balanced, especially for a session IPA. It's not the best session IPA I've ever had, but it is solid. It's easy drinking despite that medium body. Like I was saying, like session IPAs don't always impress me, but there's something that then there's always something missing to them. But this one here is fine. I guess the only detraction I can say to it is that, okay, so the flavor profile, I guess, is similar to Huge On, but I'm not quite convinced on that one. I feel like the flavors maybe they use the same hops, but it doesn't come off quite the same way. But I still feel like this is a damn fine session IPA. So for this one, for style, I can't help but not give it a 9. So it's going to be a 9 for style, and for overall enjoyment, 8.5. I love it, and I would get this again if Trailway keeps making it, because I would session this one alongside a few cans of regular Huge on hops, because let's just say like 4 of these is $12. Regular Huge on hops is almost $5 a can. So even though it's pretty much available in every grocery store here in New Brunswick. All right, so that's my thought on that one. Hey, look, we have one viewer and no comments. Say that one viewer. How you doing? And let us know what you're drinking. Dan says you just got home, has to rewatch. Yep. But Dan, let us know what you're drinking and how you're doing. And you could also be the person that asked the magic question for this week.
Just got home. He's not drinking.
He did ask the magic question, so we will answer that here shortly. So now that we have that in the bag, let's why don't we just circle it around and just ask everyone, like Mr. Gee here, of all the beers you heard here tonight, which one would you have liked to have tried?
Depends on style, because I really like this one, but out of IPA, I would try yours because I'd never heard it like that. Make this session same name kind of thing.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure you've had the original Huge on hops before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we had that, but then again, it's like, oh, you're plastered. Can you make a documentary?
They made the double dry hop version of that too. That was good.
Yeah, you were here for that, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
The Huge on hops TDH. Alrighty, so thank you, Mr. Gee. Let's go over to Mr. Redbeard and ask the magic question. What of all the beers that you heard here today, which one would you rather have?
What Gee said.
So basically mine.
Yep. Huge on hops
All
is
right.
great, and I would love to see how close they got it, kind of thing. How similar it is.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Carey. Let's go over to Lee. Hey, Lee. Of all the beers you heard here tonight, which would you rather have?
What kind of IPA is the original Huge on hops?
It's kind of like a New England style.
Oh, fuck that. I'll take Carey's.
Ah,
I feel like
okay.
you'd probably enjoy this.
Yeah.
Weird, but it's pretty good.
All right. Thank you, Lee. Let's go over to everybody's favorite Greg. Greg. Hi, Greg. Of all the beers you heard here tonight, are you paying attention to any of them? You're muted, by the way. You're muted.
Sorry, only partially. But since I like a good old battle royale, I give one vote to Carey. I believe.
Oh.
Thanks, Greg.
I don't help.
All right. And we got one more, which is Lady Lee. Hi, Lady Lee.
Hello.
Hello.
So it's kind of funny because I was like torn between Nick and Lee again, but since I picked Nick's last time, going with Mr. Lee.
All right. So that's one for
I
Mr.
apologize.
Lee.
I'm not
No,
helping
it's
with the
all
tiebreaker.
So wait, is Nick the tiebreaker now?
No, it's all good. Yeah, well, am I the tiebreaker? Am I?
Are you?
Actually, of all these light beers I've heard tonight, which one would I rather have is Lee's. So there's a 3-way tie tonight.
Which Lee?
Nice.
Oh, Manly. Okay.
Mr. Lee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that I like the sound of that Two Crows light lager. I've had a lot of beers from Two Crows before. I don't think I've ever had a bad one. And the notion of drinking that fucking cool label he's got on it, that one kind of, I would love to try that beer at some point. I would hope to. I would even consider like driving up to Amherst to go to the liquor store and over the border and try it and get in the case.
Maybe I'll just send you some. By the way,
you can always do that.
Yeah. By the way, the Two Crows refresh, which is not remotely fresh at this point, 2 years old, it actually held up. Strangely enough, at 4.3%, 12 IBUs. Just like it's one of those instances where it's an aged beer that's the first like drink of it, like as you put it in the glass, it's a little dodgy. But as you start drinking into it, it's like, no, this is pretty much how I remember it. It's a little bit, maybe just a tad stale-ish tasting. Like the hops come off as like orange pith mixed with like the skin of a cucumber or something like that, instead of like what they tasted like when they were fresh. But it's still not bad. So yeah, there you go. Two Crows. They make good beer.
That still sounds good. I mean, like, how late in 2020? I suppose it really doesn't matter. It's well over a year old. It's a craft beer.
It's January 2020 is when it was
gosh.
canned. So yeah.
Wow.
Well, actually, it just says packaged. Who knows when it was canned? It might have been canned in 2019, as far as I know.
Yeah.
A beer is almost old enough to drink itself.
Ooh. All right. Well, anyway, thank you, Mr. Lee, and there you have it. We got a three-way tie between Lee's Two Crows AC Light Lager. We got my can of Trailways Huge on Hops Light, and also Redbeard South River Roddy Piper Session IPA. So that's the first time that's ever happened. What?
He and I get no vote.
I was gonna say, so let's do a scientific tiebreaker. All three of you pick a number between 1 to 1,000 that I'm thinking of in my head.
67. No, 69. Greg's always thinking 69.
562.
785.
The closest. Well, I have to do. I'm pretty sure Carrie's the closest. My number was 720. I think Carrie's the closest.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, there you have it.
721.
Wins.
All right. So,
Science.
damn it. All right. So I'm going to put myself up here because the magic question was asked. What are we going to drink next week? We're going to drink, and I hope Greg can still get this because he didn't respond to see whether he had it or not.
I was dying today.
Yeah, what brewery is it from? Collective Arts? No. Oh, yeah, it is from Collective Arts. It is Jam Up Pineapple and Tangerine Dry Hop Sour.
I'm sure I can get that.
Yeah, if you can still get that. I mean, this is like low-hanging fruit that I can get here in New Brunswick.
Wow, you doubly don't want me on the show.
Really, Lee? You've been here the last 2 weeks.
Well, today we had Double Lee, and next week Double Lee, we don't want you.
Makes sense.
I'm actually thinking like maybe next week, the week after, we'll do like another light beer or something because it's the summer. All right. Anyway, that's that. Dan saying he still can get it too. So, and I know Lady Lee and Redbeard can get it. So,
Algonquin LCBO.
Right. All right. So I want to thank everybody for watching Mercy Beers and Dan in the chat. And of course, everybody that showed up with us, Mr. Gee, we got Gary, Redbeard, we got Mr. Lee, Greg, and Lady Lee. We are signing off for this week. We hope you
I don't have
don't
to travel
drink too
very
hard
far.
on it. Don't travel too hard. And don't drink too
own
hard on a
mind.
Wednesday night.
It
All right.
is
We'll talk to you folks
What do you
later.
think? What about drinking?
About drinking. Wait, has anyone shown the penis yet?
Oh, shit. Sorry.
God, you're
Fucking-
slipping there, Gee.
Oh,
Right there.